Hello, welcome back to Trial Shack. I'm Ian Johnston. Let's talk about handlebars. I've got a few sets of bars here with me today, a few older sets of bars and some newer ones. If we kick it off with geometry, main points in terms of bar angles and geometry, there's the width, total width from one side to the other. The total rise is the distance between the central point of the handlebar at the stem clamp end and the central point of the handlebar at the grip end. Then when it comes to sweep, you've got both upsweep and backsweep. Upsweep is how much the bar sweeps upwards after this shoulder point here. You can see on these bars that they continue to slope upwards, and you end up with a handlebar position which is slightly more of an angle, can be slightly more comfortable rather than having a flat bar. That's upsweep. Also backsweep, how much the bars sweep backwards towards you. Again, it's kind of giving you a rounded, more natural hold position on some handlebars. In terms of sizes and diameters, handlebars are a standard size at the grip end, 22.2mm, whereas the clamp end, standard size, if you were looking at some handlebars from say Tati Bike's website, they're all going to be a standard 31.8mm clamp diameter. The standard in mountain biking used to actually be smaller, being 25.4. So these are some very old bars. So if you are buying second-hand bike parts, maybe a second-hand Hope stem, something like that, just make sure it's the oversized size, diameter, and not 25.4. These old gusset prison bars actually came with a shim. So this is even smaller than 25.4, and it came with a shim so that it would rise up to the 25.4 diameter needed to fit a standard stem at that point. But like I said, things have moved on since then. The standard now is 31.8, so it shouldn't be an issue if you're buying new handlebars. In terms of picking a width of handlebars, you can see that these clean carbon bars are about 720mm. These Jitsi bars are 730mm wide. It's noticeable how much wider they are than these older style bars. I do remember changing to these open prison bars, and I could tell they just felt a lot narrower, and it feels like your elbows are further in, because they are. If you think about it, the more your hands move into here, the more your elbows naturally dip down towards your body, and the further out your grip goes, the wider your elbows are. The chest is open up a lot more. It allows you to breathe better, having wider bars. It also gives you extra leverage on the bike, so it makes it easier to maneuver the bike with wider handlebars as well. Then on to materials. So standard handlebars are aluminium, like these Jitsi bars or these old Eastern Monkey Light bars. But you can get bars in other materials. These gusset bars were actually steel, and it's also possible to get titanium handlebars if you're going for something which is mountain bike specific rather than a trial specific bar. The standard in trials, you're going to be picking between aluminium and carbon. Whichever material you go for, it is important to use a torque wrench when you're tightening your stem clamp bolts. There's nothing worse than over tightening your bar and eventually it cracking and snapping. If you are the sort of person that doesn't like using a torque wrench and you just tighten up your bolts as hard as you possibly can, then maybe carbon's not for you, because it's not good to be squashing carbon in a metal clamp. They're more likely to fail, and that's not pretty. But I recommend using a torque wrench anyway. Good bit of kit. If you do go for a carbon bar, it might be that you need to use carbon paste, but not necessarily. If, like these bars, your handlebars come with this rough surface, the chances are you don't need carbon paste, and applying carbon paste is going to give the adverse effect. You're going to tighten up that clamp, you're going to go and do a move on your bike, and your bars are going to move. So if you've got a special surface in the middle of the bar, then check the manufacturer's guidelines, see if you're supposed to use carbon paste or not, because it might just cause you a whole world of trouble. That's about it on handlebars. Bar angle, bar and stem setup, those are topics for another day. If you've got any questions on handlebars, please leave a message in the comments and I'll get back to you. Big thanks to Tati Bikes for getting involved with Trial Shack. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye.